In the midst of darkness and despair, a beacon of resistance emerged. The year was 1943, and the Warsaw Ghetto, a symbol of Nazi oppression, was about to witness an extraordinary act of defiance. In a city gripped by fear and violence, Jewish fighters took a stand against their oppressors. Their bravery and determination not only challenged the might of the Nazi regime, but also transformed our understanding of resistance during the Holocaust. Join me in uncovering how the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising marked a pivotal moment for the Jewish community during the Holocaust, reshaping the historical narrative of Jewish defiance and resistance against Nazi oppression. The Warsaw Ghetto was established in October 1940 and sealed off from the rest of Warsaw, a town in Poland, on November 15, 1940. The ghetto covered approximately 840 acres, which is about 2.4% of Warsaw's total area. At its peak, the ghetto housed around 450,000 Jews, making it the largest ghetto in Nazi-occupied Europe. With Warsaw being a predominantly Jewish city before the Nazis, the ghetto's population constituted about 30% of the city's total citizen population. The ghetto was severely overcrowded, with an average of 6 to 9 people living in a single room. From July 22 to September 12, 1942, the Nazis conducted mass deportations and liquidations of the ghetto, known as the Grossaktion of Warsaw, during which approximately 312,000 Jews were sent to the Treblinka extermination camp, sparking a severe sense of fury and rage in the ghetto community. Due to this, the ZOB, an abbreviation meaning in English the Jewish Combat Organization, was formed after the horrific conditions and slaughter of members in the ghetto. It was led by Mordaki and Nalswitz, who became a symbol of resistance among the Jewish community. The ZOB focused on organising armed resistance against the Nazis, believing that active defiance was the only path left, as the brutal liquidation of the ghetto continued. The constant oppression and mistreatment of the community of the Warsaw Ghetto eventually led to a sense of pure outrage and fury. Although there were several minor feuds and quarrels between small groups of Jewish citizens and German soldiers, the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising exploded on April 19, 1943, as a daring and desperate act of resistance to Nazi oppression. In the face of imminent deportation to extermination camps, Jewish soldiers from the ZOB and the smaller ZZW joined forces to fight for survival and dignity. The uprising began with a brutal confront when German troops who were ordered to destroy the ghetto encountered unexpected resistance. The fighters took advantage of the ghetto's dense and chaotic design, setting up ambushes and staging guerrilla strikes from hidden locations. They executed hit-and-run operations on German forces and territories, using an elaborate network of bunkers and tunnels to avoid capture. The ZOB's underground network served as vital for communication, smuggling weapons, and organising resistance actions. Their smart use of urban warfare, taking advantage of the ghetto's small streets and houses, enabled them to inflict substantial fatalities on German troops despite their insufficient resources. Estimates suggest that around 200-300 German soldiers were killed or wounded during the uprising. Reflecting on this, Mordel and Nalswitz, co-founder of the ZOB, stated in an interview, "My life's dream has become a reality. I have seen the Jewish defense of the ghetto in all its strength and glory." This powerful statement expresses Nalswitz's profound sense of triumph and honour after seeing the Jewish warriors' brave and coordinated resistance. Despite the grave conditions, his remarks emphasised the strength and dignity of their resistance, as well as the profound impact of their non-compliant stand against the Nazis. The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising is seen by the Jewish community as a turning point of encounter and resistance against Nazi oppression. It triggered uprisings across Nazi-occupied Europe, including the Ballstatt Ghetto Uprising in August 1943, the Sibiror Uprising in October 1943, and the Sonderkommando Revolt in Auschwitz in October 1944. These acts of resistance demonstrated the bravery and tenacity of Jewish fighters in the face of horrible odds, values that were established in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. The brutal suppression of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising had devastating consequences. Approximately 42,000 Jewish citizens were deported to concentration camps, where many were ultimately murdered. The suppression of the uprising was met with a mix of horror and admiration, yet it is the spirit of resistance and defiance that endures and continues to leave a profound legacy within the Jewish community. The uprising significantly reshaped narratives of Jewish resistance, portraying Jews not merely as victims, but as active resistors. As Mary Begg wrote in her diary,
"Even the Germans were amazed at the heroic resistance put up by the defenders of the ghetto. They could not understand where these starved, exhausted people drew so much courage and strength from in their fight for the last citadel of Polish Jewry."
This intense display of courage and resilience became a powerful symbol of resistance, influencing post-war Jewish identity and collective remembrance of Jewish resistance during the Holocaust. Emanuel Ringelblum, in his book Notes from the Warsaw Ghetto, reflected, "The uprising was a symbol of underlying will to live as free people. Even though the ghetto was destroyed, the spirit of the resistance lived on, inspiring others to continue the fight." This enduring spirit is commemorated in Holocaust education and memorials, ensuring that the Warsaw Ghetto is remembered for how, due to its resistance and bravery, the narrative surrounding Jewish resistance underwent a substantial transformation, evolving to depict Jews not solely as victims, but rather as engaged in acts of resistance. Despite the statements from Mary Begg and Emanuel Ringelblum, it's important to acknowledge the limited evidence on how the uprising influenced German citizens' perspectives. Given the Nazi regime's strict control over public opinion and suppression of dissenting views, it's unlikely that any positive recognition of Jewish bravery and resilience would have been permitted or documented. The impact of the 1943 Warsaw Ghetto Uprising on the historical narrative of Jewish resistance during the Holocaust was profound and transformative. It marked a pivotal shift in how Jewish resistance was perceived, highlighting the courage and determination of Jews who fought back against Nazi oppression. This uprising demonstrated that, even in the face of overwhelming odds, Jewish fighters were not mere victims, but active resistors.